I appreciate you joining me today. We're going to begin looking at Josiah, the boy who became king. Our hymn today is Live for Jesus.
Live for Jesus, wondrous sinner, under Satan serve the Lord. Of the promised prize a winner, thou mayst be when life is o'er. Live for Jesus, give him all thou hast to give. On the cross, a Redeemer gave his life that thou mightst live. Live for Jesus in life's morning, at the noontide hour be his, and at eve when day is turning, and inherit endless bliss. Live for Jesus, give him all thou hast to give. On the cross, a Redeemer gave his life that thou mightst live.
Okay, let's look at our passage now. In 2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 1, says, Josiah was 8 years old when he became king, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the ways of his father David. He did not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. And I thought it was interesting how it phrased that. He walked in the ways of David. And that his grandfather Manasseh was actually still alive when he was born, and for the first few years of his life, if you do the math. But I just think it's interesting that here, and they haven't discovered the law yet, by the way, but he wants to go back, and he wants to do, as the passage says, what his father David did. Now, I counted it up, but I've since forgotten the number. That happens sometimes. But I was looking at the genealogy in Matthew chapter 1 of Jesus. And pardon me if you just count along with me. This is Matthew chapter 1. Between David and Josiah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Roughly 13, assuming I didn't miscount, which is a distinct possibility. There are 13 generations between David and Josiah. 13. You know, I children want to be like their parents. Children want to be like their grandparents. It takes a special kind of individual to want to be like their great 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 grandparent. 13 generations. He wants to go back to the man after God's own heart. And that's Josiah, the one who had been prophesied. Back to our passage. In the 8th year of his reign, so he was 8 when he became king. In the 8th year of his reign, while he was still young, he began to seek the God of his father David. And in the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem of the high places. And just notice what it says. It says the wooden images, the carved images, the molded images. They broke down the altars of the Baals in his presence, and the incense altars which were above them he cut down. And the wooden images, the carved images, the molded images he broke in pieces and made dust of them, and scattered it on the graves of those who had sacrificed to them. He also burned the bones of the priests on their altars, and cleansed Judah and Jerusalem. He pulverized them. He made them into dust. Do you remember the New Testament when you have those who are practicing magic and they have all their books that are just worth a huge amount of money? You remember what they did with them? Burn them. Burn them. That's what they did with them. They're not good for anybody. Burn it. Josiah, with all of these idols, what does he do? Make dust out of them. Scattered on the graves of those who had sacrificed them. Burn the bones of the priests. Let Judah and Jerusalem be cleansed. And he doesn't just do it there. The other point I wanted to make is that he did it in the cities of Manasseh, Ephraim, and Simeon, as far as Naphtali, and all around with axes. He broke down the altars, the wooden images. He beat the carved images into powder and cut down all the incense altars throughout all the land of Israel. And then he returned to Jerusalem. That was quite the crusade, wasn't it? I appreciate it because he did not just confine his work to home. Like, nope, we're going throughout the land. We're going to clean house, and our house is not just confined to our house, if you will. We're going to go throughout the land. And again, they haven't discovered the book yet. But he knows this is wrong. This is wrong. So what are we going to do? We're going to tear down and pulverize all these false gods. Turn them to dust. His father David. It's the sort of zeal we need to have, isn't it? Live for Jesus, wandering sinner. Back to our hymn. And that's one reason to look at the hymn. And I was thinking about it within, in this case, the third verse. Live for Jesus in life's morning, at the noontide hour be his, and at eve when day is turning, and inherit endless bliss. Notice that's life's morning. We're not just talking about in the morning. We're talking about when you're young, when you're middle-aged, and when you're older. Live for Jesus. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.